Good morning, everybody. My name's Mark Knights from RPG Nights and Games on Board. I'm here today to run through a Fantasy Grounds tutorial, basically setting up a game on Fantasy Grounds, I suppose. If you've been watching my my YouTube channel, you would know that I run a Reign of Winter campaign, and I'm currently running them through Revenge of the Witch Queen, which is the final module for the Paizo Reign of Winter path. What I'm going to do today, because tonight I have a game and pretty much they've caught up to where I am, I'm going to show you what I roughly do. Now, I don't know if Paizo are going to get upset about this, but I use the electronic modules that they gave me while I was subscribed to the Adventure Path, subscriber path. I use them wholeheartedly, and I put the entire story in. Now, I don't share these with anybody. I just keep them for myself, and it's for my personal and my group's use. So hopefully there's no breach of contract or anything like that, but we may be seeing some of that module as we go through. In fact, we definitely will be. So here is Fantasy Grounds. I've selected my Reign of Winter. You can see I've got loads and loads of campaigns running now, but I'm going to start up the Reign of Winter campaign. And while that's starting up, I might as well go and open up my Reign of Winter Revenge of the Witch Queen module, which I keep in my copy folder, RPGs, where are we, Pathfinder, Adventure modules, Reign of Winter, here we are. So we've got all the interactive maps and stuff like that, so I may need the interactive maps for it. All depends on where I'm going, so I'll open that up, and Revenge of the Witch Queen. Okay, so there's my module, and you can see that down the bottom there, it's got all of my little watermark details down there because it was sold to me. So hopefully that's enough to keep Paizo from getting upset from me putting this video up for you guys. Okay. So here is Reign of Winter. Now, currently, I have run through the story. We've got an adventure background, adventure summary, Baba Yaga communications, little bits and pieces like that. They come out of varying sectors, within the book. But I have here, we've got part 1, or the A section. Okay, so they went along and they went down the infinite spiral, and they found some ancient stairs, and they meet up with the mother tree and the sacred pool and all that sort of stuff. Then they go across and deal with Vashkra, who's through Mammoth's tent, which is where they'll be heading back to tonight. The Broken Plain, Fortress of Ironstone, etc., etc. So I've got all my story run through there. We've got the return to Mammoth's tent there. Okay, which is the details that they'll be running through tonight. And so we have it here. So I've got a fair bit of the detail in already. You'll see as we go through. I've got images and maps. Okay, so I've got bits of the maps that I've used. That's the map that we've currently just finished on, and they finally got into the secret treasure room and found the actual crown. Bunches and bunches of maps basically in there. I've got NPCs, so if something isn't in the bestiaries, because I've got down here in the library, and you should really find these, the Pathfinder bestiaries and stuff like that are there under fan content that have put all these details in, so I've got all that stuff open. Okay, so we need to find where I am in the module. Because with this module I haven't actually pre-read it. I normally pre-read my modules, but I'm playing along the lines of discovering as I go, essentially. Oops, oh well, that's all good enough. So, Baba Yaga, continuing the campaign. Oh, that's afterwards. Okay, the Witch Queen's Revenge. Here we are. Part 2, the Ruins of Vashlik. So we're about to move into part 3, but I better go see the end of the Ruins of Vashlik. just to see what happens after they get where they are. Okay, so we go to return to Mamquill's tent. And they once again, and it starts at the beginning of part 3. Right. So here we go. After the PCs, you remember the second. Okay, so they're going to go back to the mother tree, so they have to make the journey back through Mamquill's tent, which they're going to be doing tonight. And they'll head back into the tree. So what we'll do is we're going to add another one of these down here. So we're just going to add a new group. Okay, this is going to be part 3. And we're going to have a new bit of story, which we'll edit. Now, what we need to do here, okay, is I actually cut and copy text. Okay, so this is part 3, the island of Bouillon. So we give the title. And then we enter the text. Now, I'll show you a bit about this text in a moment. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we'll come back, we add some more text. Okay, now you can see that that's actually formatted really terribly. And that's because it comes from a PDF. And what you really need to do with this sort of stuff is you need to get in there and sort of start reformatting it a bit. Okay, now that is a section that's over and done with, and we need to keep going like this. Now, I'm not going to put you through all the time that I have to spend doing that, so what I'm going to do is I'll pause it here until we get through the section, and we'll continue on and have a look at how this works bit by bit. But I'm just going to pause you for the moment. Okay, we're back. Now I've gone through and I've sorted that sort of section, so you can see it's formatted in a much better way. But I also notice there's a couple of things that I need to do. Now, reading through the story, I found that there's some speaky outy text. Now, I've already done it with one, and you can see that we've got this text button here. So now when I click it, that'll come through. I like to read these sections to my players before I click them, so they have that data there later on. Now, there's a few other sections, and to do that, we right-click, we get our text button, and we use this chat frame. Okay, and we set it up as a chat, and it's that simple. So you click in the paragraph, text, chat frame, and now as I go, I can sort of like click, and up it comes on either side. So there we go. Now, also in here, the story reads, blah blah blah. You've done some wonderful stuff. Now you'll be able to hear Baba Yaga's voice roughly, and Baba Yaga informs them to go ahead across here, which sends them to Area A5. Now Area A5 is part of my stories, so if I go to my A section, there's A5 Cave Dwellers, which I've clicked on, and here it is. Now there's some details in here, including a text thing, so something occurs, and that encounter, the details, we sort of just drop in there. So I drag it along, and then when I'm reading through this island of Bouillon, so I come across and I click on that, and there's the detail. Okay, now we've got a map. Okay, and if I were to drop that encounter in, yeah, we don't have a valid token in there at the moment. Now, I did have tokens for these, so you'll be able to see what I do here. I have a Rain of Winter thing, which I do my own tokens for. And theoretically, I should have a Gug in here, but it's not looking all that promising. Something's happened to my Gug tokens and my Gug Savant token. So let's just have a flick through here. Now A5 will be mentioned way back here somewhere. Mars is the Catalobus. Gugs, so there's no pictures of the Gugs there. Um, let's just have a look in the folder for the tokens. Okay. Rain of Winter. Get a bit of a better look at it from here. There's my Gug. Right, so he should be appearing in the folder. Maybe I just overlooked him. So we'll go back to Rain of Winter. And there he is. So I'll drag that token in there. No, we need to go to the Gug token and drag him in. Now, the encounter is currently locked, so maybe that's why it's not working. There we go. Okay. So, oh, I might as well give my Gug token over here. Oh, I can't. That's right. It's a fan-made thing. So, now I've done that. If I drop them in, you see the Gugs there, and they've all appeared. Yet they're all a little bit huge, unfortunately. I'll have to deal with that later on. But you can resize the tokens quite simply. So I'm just going to... how do I get rid of all enemies? Menu, delete from tracker, delete only foes. There we go. So the cave dwellers are out. Okay, so that's essentially how quickly I can just move straight in and have the Gugs there. This then moves on to this section, so I can disappear that. Island in an empty sea, so they talk about the island and how it's a one-way portal and bits and pieces like that. So pretty much I've got everything set up. Now there are different types of text. This one's a heading, so that's what I wanted to appear as, Island in an endless sea. So you can go through and change things around. It's that easy. So pretty much we've got the island of Buyan set up, and we need to drop back down to where we were. Part 4's a little bit far. Getting there. Okay. There we are. So Journey to the Island of Buyan is the next section. So what I tend to do is I'll leave this section open and I'll create myself a new item. Okay. So we've got the new story here, and it's Journey to the Island of Buyan. Okay, now this includes a CR12 encounter, so we're going to have to build an encounter, which will be really quite good here. But of course, if they fly, which is probably what my players will do, that occurs. Now we've got a fair bit to occur through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm going to copy and paste this material through. And what I'll do is once I've got it all sorted out and formatted correctly, and really you don't need to do that, but I'm a bit OCD, I'll bring you back in and show you how we're going to build an encounter. I'll see you shortly. Okay, we're back. I've formatted and, well, sort of formatted, cleaned it up, got it into a bit better looking. Now we're going to build an encounter and use a map. Now the first thing that we'll do is we're going to set up a map. Now I've gone ahead and found the map on in my interactive maps, etc. I'm only going to use this as a GM map, so I'm leaving the tags on. The one good thing that Paizo have done is that they have given us buttons and stuff like that, so you can actually turn grid markings off and the like in these things off. So I could remove these map tags. Now I don't want to do that because this is going to be the encounter locations. But that's what I can do. I'm going to make it perhaps a little bit larger, and what I'm going to do is take a screenshot of it. Now my screenshots go to Dropbox, so we'll just nip straight over there and we'll open that up with GIMP. This is a really simple process. It takes no time at all. Even though I keep pausing and taking you off, I'm really only spending a couple of minutes, if that, in between each time that I'm talking to you. So here we are. We're going to select the island of Buyan. Okay, and image copter selection. That's all I need to do, and then overwrite the screenshot. So discard those changes now. Go back into Fantasy Grounds now. Down the bottom it talks about both event-based encounters. Now we're going to include a map, so we're going to add a folder, and we're going to find my Dropbox and my screenshots. I'm going to rename that file Island of Booyan, and okay, so I should have kept that open. It was a bit silly. So let's make it a bit smaller. Find the details again. Screenshots. Island of Buyans up the top. Now over here we have our images and maps. We're going to open that folder and drag my Island of Buyan into that folder. Don't need my screenshots anymore. It's there. When I click back here, you'll find the Island of Buyan has been put across. Now I actually wanted it in the next one because this is where I keep all of my jam stuff. Now it says down the bottom here about the island, so what I'm going to do is just put a space in there and a link to the Island of Buyan, because later on I'm going to put little pins and links in that image, so it leads me to the encounters that I need to do. Now we have an encounter to build out of this as well, also some text. So this section here is text, so we'll pop that into a box. You can see here that I've already used the title bar. Now creature, we need a sea serpent. Now I don't think the sea serpent's in the basic bestiary, so there we go, there's the sea serpent. None of these come with tokens, so we're going to need to build a sea serpent token. And this is also quite easy and quite fun. Now normally I'll go into Google Images, but just on the way I'll put a bit of a plug-in for Games on Board, my new site, my new store, in fact. Currently we're only selling digital PDFs, and that's the entirety of them at the moment. I'm signing on publishers as we speak, but if you want to come on board and start buying some PDFs from us, we're games-onboard.com. All transactions are handled by PayPal, so you can pay via card, etc., but it's all handled by PayPal, so don't take your credit cards or anything like that. I'd be really keen to see you on the site. This is one of the steps towards actually opening our own business. But enough of a plug. That was a paid advertisement by our sponsor. Okay, so here we have Sea Serpent we're after, so we're going to go Sea Serpent. Now I like to use the Pathfinder bestiary pictures, and I know they're copyrighted material. I have all of the bestiaries, so sometimes I actually just take a photo of them and manipulate the photo, but sometimes a search like that will bring us up some images. So there are a bunch of different images. I don't actually know which one is the official Pathfinder Sea Serpent, so I'm just going to pick one that I like the looks of, and I think it's going to be this guy, somebody from DeviantArt. So I'm just going to view the image and copy the image. Now again, this is all just personal use. I'm taking it, admittedly it's going onto this YouTube video, but this is just a tutorial to help you along the way, but I do personal use. This is just for me and my group. I don't give any of this away, I don't share the modules, I don't do anything like that. So we're going to save that image as, and we'll drop him into the downloads file, Sea Serpent Stage 3, righto. So he's done, he's the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to make a picture and a token for him. So first things first, we'll go into my downloads, which exists on my E drive. It was Sea Serpent, wasn't it? I wonder if it was a PNG or a JPEG. Let's find out. Sea Serpent Stage 3. There we go. So we'll open him. GIMP. Comes up down here. Unfortunately, I'm stuck on Windows today because I'm at work, but there you go. So first thing I'm going to do in here is, actually I just really need to make a token from him. So because it's a JPEG, I'm going to add a transparency layer. So we go layer, transparency, add alpha channel. Okay, tokens around. So we're going to take a nice picture of his face, like that. That's an awesome token. And the first thing I do is crop to that selection. Okay, so the image is now just that. What we do now is we grab that selection and we invert it. So now it's actually covering all these side sections, and we clear them. Okay, so now we've got a circle with some transparency there. We need to invert that selection again, and then we're going to stroke that selection. We're going to do it with a pattern at 6 pixels. Okay, and that gives us a nice sort of token looking thing. It does have these side bits, but oh well, I don't mind. So once that's done, I didn't make it a perfect circle, I don't think. Oh, next one, if we have a next one, I'll do it a perfect circle. I normally like to keep it. Actually, no, let's go right back because it doesn't take very long, so you can see we can do that. So, okay, so we've got the circle. I'm going to have a fixed aspect ratio. Okay, and it's going to be 1 to 1. Now what that does is it forces me to have a perfect circle. Okay, so that way it's not oval-like. So again, we go there. We're going to crop to the selection. We're going to invert that selection. We're going to clear that area. We're going to invert the selection back, and then we're going to stroke that selection with the pattern. Okay, now we're going to export it as, Sea Serpent Token, or TOC. Okay, and that's going to be a PNG file. So I export that. That's going into my downloads file. And I can get rid of that one. Now, back into Fantasy Grounds, images and maps. Okay, so go back to the players sort of section. We're going to go to our folder, bring up the Windows Explorer section, and we're going to find my downloads file, find my PNGs, which are closer to the bottom. There we are, Sea Serpent. We're going to drag that in. So there's a, no, actually I didn't want that, did I? Such is the way of things. We're going to delete that now because that needs to go in the token folder. What I actually want is my JPEG in here. So the Sea Serpent, there he is. We might rename that to just Sea Serpent. Drop him in. Okay, so now when my players come on, we can go images and say, hey, look, there's a big sea serpent, and I can click on that and up will come the sea serpent. Once I've clicked on it though, I do need to right click and go to sharing and then get them to share that sheet. Now I'm going to ask them to preload that image as well, so I can do that now. I'm good. I'm really good. Okay, sea serpent. And okay, there it is, the sea serpent. So I've taken it out and put it back in again. Good. Now, for the token, which is what this was all really about. We're going to go down here, tokens, and you click on Gem and it brings up a folder. Now I have a Reign of Winter folder, so we're going to get back that folder. Oh, I didn't want that folder, but there you go. So there should be another one, that one there. Go down to our Sea Serpent, and we can drag this in here. Okay, so now we're going to have an encounter. So we go to our NPCs and we click on encounters. So up here we want another encounter, which is called Journey to the Island of Buyan. It's a challenge rating 12 encounter. I would really like it to autofill that, but if wishes were dollars, I'd be a millionaire. So let me go back to the module. That's the maps. What did I do with the module? Have I shut that down? Is that it over there? There it is. So CR12, which is 19,200 experience. Now I already had the Sea Serpent stats open over here, so I just need to drag that in there. Now, my Sea Serpent needs a token, so we'll drag out our tokens, and my Sea Serpent gets dropped in there. I'm going to lock that encounter now because I'm not actually going to use it with the map. The token's only there so we don't get an error when we pop it up. And once the characters come into contact with the Sea Serpent and the battle's on, I drop him in. It gets its initiative rolled for it immediately. I have it set up so it rolls random hit points, so it won't actually say the same hit points as it does in this section here. It says 187, but mine's a little bit weaker, 173. And yeah, then the encounter goes. So from there I would make him visible and roll initiative of everybody. Now that re-rolls the Sea Serpent's initiative, but that's okay. That's fine with me. And then everybody's set and we move into combat, sort of thing. So menu, delete all foes, give them a short rest. Okay, so that's it. That's how you build these modules up, and you go one at a time, bit by bit, move it forward, just encounter by encounter. Now I've got enough there to last pretty much what's going on tonight because the guys have got a fair old battle ahead of them, and then they've got another encounter after that, and then they'll come here, sort of thing. But I will continue to do it. I like to get a full section out of the way, so if you can do this, this will take me maybe an hour to prep an entire section of the module. I learn about the module as I go because I read while I'm sort of clicking and doing all that sort of stuff. You can see over here, okay, oh, there's one more thing that we should do. Okay, so we've got the Journey of the Eye. Here's the Sea Serpent here. After that, we want to drop that encounter in. So, NPCs, encounters. Journey to... Where's Journey to? There we are. Journey to the Island of Buyan. We grab that encounter, we drop it in over here. Okay, now, later on, I will be doing an encounter that they meet up with. Is it the next encounter, event 1? City area E, okay. So yeah, we've got a bit of an encounter that coming in as they head to the city. So when I do that, I'll come across here. What I'll do is I'll include the story as is. So okay. So first of all, I kept this Island of Buyan open because they were heading to there, so I can click that down. Put that down there now. Now we can lock that story and put it away. We'll keep this one over here. Bring up the next story. So we're going to add a new story. The new story is oh, Arrival on Buyan, CR15. Okay, Arrival on Buyan. Okay, now in our images and maps, we're going to have the island of Buyan, and this is going to encounter at E. Okay, now E here is actually going to be the city. Okay, this is the golden city here. Now, I am probably, from the looks of that, not going to run that as a map-based encounter. We might run it more, being that it's 10 feet and stuff, tokens become into the way. I'll probably run that just as a descriptive base. So what we'll do is we'll increase the size of this. Okay, so we get a good side of it. 200's a bit too much, so we'll go 190%. Still a little bit too much. Right, so I can get it all in now. Take a screenshot of it. Go to that screenshot. Open it in GIMP. Okay, open GIMP. There we go. We're after the city, so we get the square. Image, crop to selection. Save as, or export as, sorry. Save as will give me a GIMP file. So we're going to call it the Golden City, or Golden City. And we'll export it. Get rid of it. Okay, come back here, reset that to 75%. Come across here. Now our images and maps. We're going to the folder. And the Golden City should be, there it is there. Drop that in there. Okay. Get rid of those two. Come back here. The Golden City has been added in there. Okay, so what I want to do is with this section, I'm going to enable shortcuts. Okay, and we're going to bring the Golden City across and put a pin in it. Okay, so when I'm looking on this map and they come towards E, I click on that, the Golden City will come up. The Golden City, I'll enable pins to be in it, and I'll pin encounters to it. Okay, so I'll find out where the first encounter occurs. When is Myra? Okay, reinforced. They have no knowledge, blah blah blah. They just fly in and around, so that encounter is not actually going to occur around the map. Okay. Right, so the Golden City and stuff isn't until we come down there, so we'll sort that out later. But I would, okay, E1. Come down and have a look at E1. I would do this encounter, build this up as an encounter, and we would have that locked in here as a pin, so you can just click through it as your game master. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. It's really easy, so you can see that this video hasn't gone terribly long, and that's with me describing and running through and doing bits and pieces and actually running through the GIMP tutorials also with you. So I hope that you can make use of this. This is a really good system. You can have your entire content. I don't open the module pretty much unless the players ask me about, oh, remember that magic sword that I got, and that was in 3 modules ago when we were using the other system, Roll20. Fantasy Grounds, you can stick it all in. and it's all interactive and it works really well. And if you think that that is a clunky system, it really isn't, quite honestly. Got your characters in a tab. Look, there's my story all laid out. I've got different sort of organizational bits and pieces. We've got our images and our maps. Just there, we've got NPCs, so if we have anything that's unique, we can stick it in there. Otherwise, we can just go to our encounters and we build them. By the way, you can build encounters with these NPCs in them, so you just drag them across. You don't necessarily have to go, so this is just a little character sheet for it. Um, we have items, which I haven't really played with, but I'm going to in the future, because you can make item parcels, so they get treasure, and then you go to the party sheet and you can drop sort of a parcel in here, and it will auto, share the parcels around, and then you can sort out items, so you can automate basically where they go to. You have a note section. I haven't need to make any notes, and a library where I've got all of the rules sitting open for me. So I really hope you check out Fantasy Grounds. That was me just doing a brief tour of how I put together my adventures, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Thanks very much for watching.